So you're probably wondering, what the fuck am I doing in the forest? Who is this guy? I'm wondering the same thing. And my name is Gill. If you don't know who I am, I've coached in the fitness industry for around 7 years now. But I'm curious on your thoughts on this because I've always known there was something bigger than just fitness. That fitness is important, but there's so much more to life. And I'm curious if you've ever had the feeling that you knew there was so much more out there. There was so much more of a person you knew you could be. You knew you could be better, but for some reason you don't know what path to take. People telling you to do this, people telling you to do that, and you just feel confused. You want to do well, you want to be the kind of man, you want to be the kind of person who people can respect. People can look at and say, wow, that's a quality person. People who would even seek to come to you for help. You see, growing up, I always wanted to be seen. I always wanted to have attention from other people. And through the years, I picked up many things to try and be seen. I wanted to get in shape. I wanted to be good with women. I wanted to make money. I wanted to have an online presence. I started dressing a particular way, going down the journey of coaching sales for Bruno Bairami, one of my friends, still doing so. But all of these things were strands of insecurities that I had. You see, I knew I could be more. I wanted to be more. But in my family life, it didn't really feel like I was getting that recognition. You see, there was a lot of hostility between my mum and my dad. They were together for 14 years, but never married. Never. The reason why is because they stayed together in a way just to get by. But my dad resented my mum, and my mum was incredibly angry at my dad. So the conflict styles were ones that would actually trigger one another. If my dad would want to separate himself, my mum would want to get closer. So they would constantly fight and argue. So as a little kid, what I would find is that I would want to be recognized. I would want to have love from my mum, but she was always angry, upset, trying to get the love that she wanted, especially from my father. So she would never hear you because all she was thinking about was her own problems. And that's fine. But it was almost like they had to go through their own things before they could pay attention to a kid. And it can be tough when parents try to do that. And my dad really struggled with confrontation. And one day, after all the arguing, myself, my brother, and my sister, along with my mum, left without any notice to my dad. And he came home to an empty house. Now that was tough. It was really tough. So you go through your upbringing, wanting to have attention from your parents, wanting to be proud of your father, but not really getting it, not being seen. So there's this thing within you that you don't feel validated. And I brought that into school, I brought that into my life, my dating life. And for a large portion, I got into learning piano, into getting in shape, chasing women. I had a very large association with my ability to get women for my sense of self-worth. And if I didn't get attention, if she didn't message me back, there was this pit inside me that was like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. So this video is for you. If you can relate to that, it's for you because you are going down a big journey, my friend. You're going down a very interesting journey because it can go in multiple ways. And for me, it went down the road of status, which is why all of those things was a way of my societal construct of what I thought success was. I thought it was the suits, I thought it was the muscle, I thought it was the women. I wanted respect, I wanted love. But funnily enough, is that whenever love would come into my world, I would find a way to push it away. And the reason is because I didn't feel deserving of it. So if I was talking to women or whatever it is, I'd have a facade on and I wouldn't want them to actually find out who I really was because I was scared of being rejected as I had been in the past. also felt I had been. So I really struggled to actually create any form of intimacy in my life. You're probably thinking about patterns in your own life maybe that you have been taking. And it all stems from the one thing, which is you don't think you are deserving of that love. Now, I don't recommend that you don't do things to improve yourself. You don't do things that make you feel great. You know, I have no regrets of getting in shape and going on my journey. It's why I coach what I coach. But it wasn't until I met a good friend of mine, Craig, you've probably seen him in some previous videos, who was one of the first examples of unconditional love that I had ever received. Regardless of my flaws, regardless of even if we had any conflict, he would still have that love for me. And the funny part is he probably went through a similar journey, and we were able to bond and provide that love for each other that we so craved. And that was one of my first introductions to, hey, you can fuck up. You can say things that maybe people get angry at or whatever it is and still be loved and feel that purely for who you are. There was this one time I went into a church with him, and I just broke down crying. I had so much tension in my body just of trying to hold a persona. And I was sick of it, you know. I walked into that church and there was this energy of just love, and everything started coming up. And I didn't even really say any words. I just started crying. And everyone came around me, held me, and just let me cry. Let me go through what I was going through. And it was just a byproduct of holding on to all of everything I tried to be to get love. And that's when I realized that until I learned to love myself, until I learned to realize that we are worthy by nature, there is nothing that says we are not worthy other than ourselves. By default, we are worthy. Until I realized that, only then could I really give myself permission to express myself fully as who I am and own it. And for the people who rejected that to realize that judgment is simply a projection of self-rejection. If I judge that person, it's because I also judge myself. So if anyone ever judges you, just know that it doesn't mean don't be you, but that person's going through their own journey. And for yourself, you want to be around people who don't project that judgment onto you for who you really are. So don't take it personal. And this is how I really helped myself learn to open up to people, show them my heart, show them that little kid, that hurt kid, was just to realize that any form of that judgment is their own journey. And that's not for me to take personally. So you are in for a ride, because there's stages to this, there's levels to this. And it took me so many years to get to this point, being around the right people, getting the right mindset taken in, getting the right ideas taken in from being around the right people. And I can't thank the people that I'm around enough, but it never would have happened if I didn't take those steps in the beginning. Right or wrong, I took steps that got me here, and it's the same for you. You don't have to know all the answers right now, okay? I did the fitness journey and I still am. Did the sales journey and I still am. Did the piano and I still am. Helping other people do the same and I still am. And there's nothing wrong with that. They were all integral steps to get you to go through the personal transformation you needed to realize you are enough and you are worthy. You are worthy by default. So keep your head up. When you have doubts and insecurities, realize it's only you who gets in the way of that sense of love and worthiness. And looking back, I can look at my family, look at my mom, look at my dad, and know that they've got their own shit they're going through. And I know they love me. But it's up to me to approach them with the love that they also craved in order for them to feel comfortable to give it to me. So I don't take it personal. My relationship with my mom is great. The other day I was on the phone with her with my girlfriend, and I just went, "Hey mum," and then I kissed the screen and she broke down crying. That's all she wanted. And I struggled to give it to her growing up because I would always be receiving the pain that she would project out. So she wanted love from me, but I never gave it to her because of the pain that was being projected onto me. But when I can understand and then look through that and still give her love regardless, it allowed her to truly, this is all I wanted, and then drop her shit too. So give out what you wish to receive. And with my dad, I know he loves me, he expresses his regret, but that's okay. I don't hold resentment because I understand. And until you also can understand that your parents have their own shit they're going through, once you understand that, you can learn to start forgiving and to also start giving them what you wish to receive. And if they're not ready, they're not ready. But don't take it personal. I hope this helps. Stick around. There's going to be more of this. If you want more mindset, actionable steps, things that I learned along the way to really help me go through these transformations, I created a 30-day newsletter. Every single day, I'm writing core mindset transitions that I had to make in order to start developing the perspective to become who I wanted to be and live life in the way that I was proud of and other people were proud of. Not that it's even about them. Feel free to opt in. The link is in the description. I fucking love you, man. Just know that you are worthy. You are enough. It's just up to you to realize.